something I know that you've got a good many theories on that I'm very keen to hear, is that the WWE does not want you to go to their shows to see one particular person. They don't want to go to see
Yes.
Roman Reigns. They don't want you to see Brock Lesnar. They want you to go to the show, and then whoever you get, you get. It takes away the power from the stars themselves and puts them in the hands of Vince McMahon and the company. But with WWE, let's focus on WWE particularly. Where do you think they're going wrong as far as putting out a compelling product that 20 years or 25 years ago they were getting right?
One thing that I can say that I think everybody will agree with me, WWE's TV shows are marathons. Their pay-per-views are marathons. And this falls back into my theory. I work for Sportskeeda. You know what Sportskeeda is?
Yeah, it's a wrestling news website, yeah.
Well, it's a entertainment website, I guess. But I do a show for them every Friday night live because I watch SmackDown and then I watch AEW, Rampage show, and then we go live about 5 minutes after the hour at 11 o'clock at night, and we critique both shows. But in watching SmackDown, they have the same people on every week in almost the same segment as they did the week before, and you just get so sick and tired of seeing it. I mean, I don't care if you put Adrian Street on. Remember, I just put him over and talk about how great he was. But if you put Adrian Street on every week, really just doing nothing, I mean, just having a match, and after a while, he loses his power of the draw. He's not a draw anymore. He's just a part of the furniture. And this is another thing I thought one time, man. I think you agree with this too. What's the major sport in the UK? Soccer, correct?
Yeah.
Football. You call it football. We call it soccer. But it has an off season, doesn't
it? It has an off season about 6 weeks over summer, about 1 or 2 weeks over the Christmas, the winter break as well.
Okay. But it doesn't go continuous all year, does it?
No.
That's what wrestling does. Wrestling does not take a break. College football, which is huge in the United States, they all start playing. They play 11, 12, or 13 games, and they're working toward the national title. But when the national title game gets there, the season's over. Now you're talking about next season. So you have 4 months, 5 months to talk about the next season. And, you know, fans can talk themselves into anything. But the anticipation of the new season starting is that overwhelming. But wrestling doesn't take a break. It's just every week and every week. And it's like the word ubiquitous. That means everywhere. It is everywhere. You can't even read the paper anymore. You can't even read the internet anymore without something about wrestling popping up. Even if you've opted out of hearing anything about wrestling, it's still gonna pop up. So I think that the incessant nature of wrestling programming is just too much. So, and that's why it's harder for these guys to get over, because I mean, if you're seeing it all the time, and to me, that schedule is so hard on creative. How you going to create when it's all? I mean, you can't beat blockbusters every week. You can't. I mean, there's a limit to it. And that's why I said this is what WWE doesn't do. They don't tell stories. But if they told stories, which would be better to book, but they only tell like one story or two stories, and that's it. The rest of the guys are just out there going through the moves.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I think sometimes WWE's attendance doesn't go down. I mean, their ratings, they stay the same. It's because you start watching SmackDown and then you pass out and forget to change the channel. And they said, oh, wow, it didn't drop during this, but people were asleep. So do you kind of agree with that theory?
I'd say so, definitely. I remember back in, well, I don't, because I wasn't really looking at the news in '99, but I remember people later on saying that when SmackDown debuted in 1999, that could be the beginning of the end of professional wrestling as something very popular. It won't happen immediately, but it will happen over time because people will just get too overexposed every single week. And I remember that with The Rock specifically because he was main eventing. I think he had the most main events in WWE history as far as televised events. He was on every show, and eventually people got sick of The Rock. Like, if you get sick of The Rock, you can get sick of anybody.
That's true. Let me give you another little thing you may not have thought of. Hulk Hogan, probably one of the hottest wrestlers of all time. But you didn't see him ever wrestle on TV. You never saw him wrestle on TV. You heard an interview. You had to pay money to go see Hulk wrestle. And when he did wrestle on TV, it was a big deal. But if you keep putting them out there and putting them out there and putting them out there, after a while, the newness wears off. The gimmick wears off, and people just get tired of it. So, and I think that day has hit. Now, WWE, now they're just producing content right now because they're making more money than they've ever made before, and that's due to like their TV syndications and their sponsors. I mean, they have it where they want it, but if they had to make money the old-fashioned way and go sell tickets, they'd be filing bankruptcy. You know, when they go to Saudi Arabia, I hear they have made more off the Saudi Arabian tours they've done than they've made on all the WrestleManias combined. You believe that?
Right. Yeah, I've heard per show they pay something like 40-50 million just to have one show there, or maybe two shows there, and it's because the Crown Prince. It's called sports washing, where they're basically trying to bring over established worldwide products to make their own regime more legitimate. They've done the same with golf. I think they might have done the same with tennis, like big tennis tournaments. More well-known faces that say we're in Saudi Arabia, it legitimizes their own regime.
So when WWE brings a wrestling show, let me knock this off my screen. When they bring in a wrestling show, do they charge tickets for tickets?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
They do? Okay. I thought I read one show, it was whoever wanted to come. But you know, women are, I
you
don't
might
think
be right.
allowed. Are women allowed to come?
I think only if they're accompanied by a man. I may have lied there. I don't know if they do sell tickets. I assume they did, but maybe I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm. Saudi Arabia is fascinating to me too. Now they went over there. You know, Sami Zayn can't go there. Did you know that? You heard that?
Yeah,
Why
Sami
can't
for
he go?
Syria.
Because
he's
he's Syrian. And what's the deal between Saudi Arabia and Syria? They don't like each other, or they had a war together, or what?
I've no idea. He I think he had a charity or trying to raise money for some people that Saudi Arabians didn't like.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is crazy too.